I don't want to do either of those things.
Yeah, but if you had to, though. I found out on Monday that I have rugby ball shaped eyes. And
Wait, Carl. Just let me stare into your eyes for a minute. Not that I don't always do that when we're talking anyway.
look at my beautiful rugby ball eyes, apparently.
No, but I'm just thinking about it now anyway. Isn't everyone's eyes rugby ball shaped?
Apparently
Because
not.
they're like oblongs. Or well, I know eyeballs are actually ball shaped, but from what you can see, they're oblong shaped. My eyes are really beady, I've noticed. Like I always look like I'm like
You're plotting something. You look shifty.
I look like I'm doing a racist Chinese caricature. Even raising my eyebrows, my eyes are still beady. Look. Oh, there we go. It's dangerous having a picture of myself there. I'm just captivated by my own image.
Oh yeah, I went to have an eye test because I was having these headaches, and they said, "Oh, it's probably to do with your eyesight, so go and have an eye test." And they said, "You've got rugby ball shaped eyes, whatever that means, and they're fighting against each other or something. So they've prescribed."
What? They're fighting against each other.
My eyes are fighting against each other, fighting for dominance. They're like a married couple, I guess.
Are they trying to fight until at one point one falls out and you just have a middle eye in the middle of your head?
Yeah, just one of them's going to reign supreme, and I will just have the eye.
The eye of Sauron sticking out of your skull.
Yeah, it'll be on my forehead, so yeah, it'll be perfect. And then I should be able to see into the future.
Are you sure you went to an actual optometrist and not just some dodgy bloke on the streets? Like your eyes are rugby ball shaped and they're fighting with each other?
No, they're giving me glasses. That's what I was getting to.
Did they say you're nearsighted, short-sighted, or is this a separate thing altogether?
It's called, let me just Google it, because if you Google rugby ball shaped eyes, it tells you what my thing is that I've got. I have got astigmatism.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I hadn't. I came out and Megan was like, "Oh, so what did they say?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, they said I've got rugby ball shaped eyes and I've got stigmata and."
They told me I got rugby ball shaped eyes and I'm the second coming of Jesus.
What the usual thing when you go for an eye test, right?
They looked into my eyes and saw the face of God.
They all bowed down before me and said, "My Messiah, my Messiah, we praise you and your rugby ball shaped eyes."
Of course, I was going to say, it'd be a bloody heathen if she didn't.
Exactly. And I was praised. Everywhere I walked from then on, people would just drop to their knees and bow before me.
You mean that people weren't doing that before? The lack of respect.
I know. I demand respect when I walk through town. I expect everyone to lay down in front of me so I can walk across their warm bodies rather than have to walk.
And have someone always walking in front of you playing a trumpet or smooth jazz. A saxophone in front of you.
I would like a guy dressed as an old-fashioned bard with a lute, singing of my exploits as I wander through the streets.
Isn't that what we all want, Kyle?
Well, it's what we should all have, I think.
No. If everyone had it, it wouldn't be special. Plus, that would be chaos, absolute chaos, if every single person on the face of the earth.
Yeah, because then the bards would have to have a bard.
That would be an infinite loop.
The entire world is just a circle of bards, covering the circumference of the earth. Just a ring of bards circling the earth. You could see them. It's basically like a purple ring around the earth, and you can see it from space. That's amazing.
That is a beautiful image.
Anyway, we set the scene. We have a choice. We must decide on the correct answer. I'm Kyle.
And I am Nathan, triumphantly returned.
And this is If You Had To, though. And as Nathan rightly said, the boys are back in town.
The boys are back. It's separate towns because we're talking over the phone. So the boys are back in towns.
Yep, tearing up our own towns in our own individual ways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we right now, both of us are at separate raves.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you have time to record a podcast while you're like constantly raving the night away.
No, I mean, I always have a live feed of you, Carl, everywhere you go. Don't you have one of me? I'm always talking to you every second of the day.
Yeah, I did wonder what that voice in my head was. I thought that was my conscience.
But I never tell you not to do things. I'm like the opposite of a conscience.
Yeah, you're like evil Jiminy Cricket.
Hey, Carl, look, a small boy. You should smack him over the head. Look, a row of baby ducks. You should set them on fire.
I mean, ducks are mostly in the water, so it'd be pretty hard to set the entire pond on fire.
That is your challenge. But I believe in you, my child. I know you can do it. If you really put your mind to it, you can murder innocent ducks.
So, the premise of this show is that we create scenarios for each other, resulting in two possible outcomes. We'll discuss each outcome's pros and cons and decide definitively on the correct answer. So, Nathan, this week I'm going to tell you a scary story. And how do all scary stories start?
With flowers, sunshine, and hope.
Oh, you naive boy. It was a dark and stormy cliché, and Nathan was having his usual stroll through the graveyard.
I'm terrified of cliches.
Something people should know about you, Nathan. You love strolling through spooky graveyards during the witching hour. But thankfully this week, you've decided to bring two of your good friends. You've actually brought along friends this time. I know usually we establish that you have no friends whatsoever, but this week you've convinced two people to come along to the graveyard with you.
Where all friends love to hang out, yeah.
I say friends. You met them in the pub and they sort of followed you as you stumbled out and just took your lead, basically.
Are we skipping through the graveyard?
Yes, hand in hand. What were your two friends' names again?
Federico and Bernicerana.
Yeah, and you all became friends because of your shared love in fancy dress.
Oh yeah, we are all dressed up at the moment. Federico is a Victorian nobleman. Bernicerana is dressed as a buxom Western cowboy wench.
Yeah, naturally. And you're dressed as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
How did you know? You know me so well, Kyle. I've got the pigtails.
You got the little dog, Toto, although it's obviously a stuffed one because you're not allowed near dogs anymore.
Yeah, not after the court case.
So Federico says to you, I've just got to pop off and take a leak. He dives behind a bunch of gravestones and you've had your eye on Bernicerana for a long time, so you're like, right, this is finally my chance. You start putting the moves on her, but obviously she rejects you. So you end up just like hanging out in silence. And you're like, 10 minutes passes, 20 minutes pass, and you're like, where's Federico? He's been gone a long time. He said he was just going to go for a leak. And you're getting kind of worried now.
And I've been rejected 20 times. That's how I count time in rejections. Hey, you want to go out? No. Hey, you want to go out? No. Hey, do you want to go out? No.
So you're not overly worried. You know that going for a leak takes quite a long time. But Bernicerana's getting quite worried about Federico, so she suggests that you go and look for him.
But that's just the excuse. She's just desperate to get away from me.
So you both go searching for Federico, and you're searching through this dark and foggy graveyard. Suddenly, before you, stands a vampire.
Oh no.
And the vampire has blood all round his mouth. His fingernails are caked in blood and he's licking the blood from his nails. And there's like a pile of blood. Pile of blood? More like a puddle of blood on the ground before him.
I was going to say, how could blood be a pile? Just piled on top of each other. A block of blood.
Yeah, it's like the band Puddle of Mud, but it's a puddle of blood.
I mean, I'm glad you explained the concept of a puddle of blood to me through the concept of a puddle of mud. I mean, also you said like the band, so they look like the pile of blood, puddle of blood looks like a bunch of band members lying on the floor. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
They're in the shape of a bunch of guitarists and drummers.
So you see this vampire and this blood, and you start to put two and two together. You start to think, Federico's disappeared, and there's a vampire here. Something's not quite right here. Something's going on.
Oh, Something's up here.
Something's a tad amiss.
Something's amiss. What ho? What do I see before me?
So this vampire looks at you and he seems to be considering you and thinking,
Oh. Is he a proper old-fashioned vampire? He's got a cloak, he's got a cape.
Oh yeah, definitely. Think Bram Stoker's Dracula. Think the stereotypical vampire. He looks like no one would look at him and think that's not a vampire. That's the first thing you would think seeing this guy. Wow, that's a vampire.
It's not one of those newfangled millennial vampires that don't put in the effort.
No, they don't drink pig's blood. They don't sparkle. They're
He's not wearing cool, sexy, modern clothes. He's got a cape. He's got a cloak. He's surrounded by smoke and mist. He loves to spell.
You mean count, as in Count Dracula? I love to count.
Oh my god! I was even thinking in my mind about making a 1, 2, 3 joke.
Well, maybe he loves to spell and to count. You don't know, vampires are weird.
Remember, Carl, we're never wrong. That's a fact. So whenever anyone at home thinks that we've got something wrong, you are wrong about what you think is right.
So you turn to see what Barisarana thinks about this, and she is gone. She ran away like 10 minutes before you even realised. You were just standing staring at this vampire for 10 minutes, taking in his like non-sparkling glory. And you're a smart guy. You know that if Barisarana has run, you've got to run. So you turn away and you run as fast as you can, trying to get away from this vampire. And you run through this graveyard, jumping over gravestones, kicking them down in your wake, when suddenly you come face to face with a real-life werewolf.
Oh my god!
And you see on the floor, torn to pieces, is your beloved Barisarana. Just her skull has been ripped apart, and this werewolf is covered in her blood.
Do I see Barisarana? So was the blood the vampire was licking was Federico's?
Yep, the two friends that you've made this year have both been killed in the same night.
Oh no!
So the werewolf looks at you and he's sort of, sizing you up, thinking, maybe.
Wait, hold on one second. This werewolf saying that Barisarana wasn't enough for him. The bastard! She was a beautiful woman. I bet she was delicious. He's just not appreciating her enough.
So now you've seen a vampire and a werewolf, and you're completely terrified by this, so you jump out of your skin, turn, and run in the opposite direction. But unfortunately, you end up in a dead end. And you turn around thinking, maybe there's some hope. But unfortunately, the vampire and the werewolf are walking sinisterly towards you.
Are they dancing towards me while they're doing it?
Yeah, they're like clicking their fingers at you like 60s gangsters. And the werewolf suddenly turns to the vampire, noticing him, and he's like, "Oh, you alright, Brian? I didn't realise this was your patch." And the vampire says, "Yes, Clarence. This is my patch. This is where I go to kill people and to turn them into vampires."
Clarence and Brian.
And Clarence says, "Oh, well, I wasn't going to eat him, I was just going to turn him, so, if you want him, you can have him." And Brian says, "Well, I was going to turn him too. I too already have eaten. I had a lovely big Barisarana earlier. Very tasty. You take him." Nah, you take him, mate. "No, you take him. I insist.
Hey, I have a name, thank you very much. Bloody rude, terrifying, immortal beings.
And Brian says, "You know what? Let's let the human decide. The who cares about his name, human? Would you rather, human, be vampire or werewolf?" So your would you rather for this episode is basically, would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
That is a question. I don't know if it's the question.
I mean, again, I've gone for quite a classic would you rather question.
It is. That is quite a classic one. You're really going for the classics. So, what are the pros and cons of being either a vampire or a werewolf? So, if I was a vampire, I'd be immortal. I can turn into mist and a bunch of bats and fly away. I can do amazing dance routines in front of a mirror with a beautiful woman and make her freak out when she looks over and sees nothing there.
You would become very good at counting.
I would be able to count. All these years I've wanted to count, but I never could.
There's actually a thing in the lore of vampires about counting.
It's why most of them go into accounting.
Well, there's that whole thing about if you drop a box of pins on the ground, they'll have to stop wherever you've dropped it and count them all. Like, or mustard seeds. People used to spread mustard seeds around the outside of their houses, and if a vampire turned up at their house before trying to come inside, he would just sit there and start counting up all the mustard seeds.
Are you saying real things here?
Yeah.
Mustard seeds. Are they all? It's not ADHD, is it? What's the thing? Obsessive compulsive disorder. Is that how you escape from a vampire?
Yeah, just always carry mustard seeds with you. They also can't cross running water or black cats.
They have a lot of. This is too many weaknesses. They need one weakness. Like they've already allergic to garlic, sunlight, black cats, water, machine gun fire, fire. If you sneeze on them, they burn up immediately. They're allergic to sass. If you have an attitude with a vampire, they just can't handle it.
No, all right. We'll just stick to sunlight kills you and a stake through the heart kills you. But other than that, you're immortal.
I was going to say, because the pro for being a vampire is basically being immortal and being almost nothing can hurt me. Whereas that version of the vampire that you were reading out of, I'd be even more vulnerable than I am right now. Right now, I can cross water. I can walk past a bunch of mustard seeds without having to count.
Yeah, and if they're all in front of someone's house, you got to stand there all night picking them up. The sunlight comes up and you burn to death.
Oh my god! And what if someone dropped a bunch of mustard seeds in a lake?
Well, you wouldn't drown.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to swim, so I'd just be at the bottom of the lake for the rest of eternity. That would be good. That would be lovely. What about? Do you know any crazy weird lore about werewolves? Like, if you
throw a squeak toy, they must charge after it.
And whenever they see a black cat, they have to do an Irish jig.
Yeah, and they're very vulnerable to having their tummies rubbed. Like as soon as someone starts rubbing your tummy, you're a puppy dog.
But in this scenario, these aren't. We're ignoring the classic literature lore of werewolves, like how if you cough in front of a werewolf, they consider it really rude and just get really upset with you. No, we're focusing on the classic
movie werewolves.
The movie version of a werewolf, where transformed under the moonlight, full bestial personality. I mean, this one's quite intelligent. He's got a name. He's wearing a suit and tie. He's got a monocle.
I would say it's not quite full moon yet. I'd say the next day would be the real full moon, when you would go completely feral. So it's like you'll have like 4 or 5 days where you are transforming, and then the 5th day you would just be a monster. So if you didn't want to kill people, you would have to lock yourself away at that point.
Yes, that's the thing. That's the main thing about werewolves, isn't it? They have no control of themselves.
No.
If I was turned into a vampire,
yeah.
Although I guess when you're a vampire, you do have an irresistible lust for blood, which
yeah, there is that.
Now I'm thinking about it, it doesn't really change that much about my life. It just all it means is I can't murder people in daylight anymore, which would really hamper my style.
It's like, would you be fine drinking human blood?
What if I was a vampire?
Yeah, that's your main source of food. Like, you don't really eat anything else, you just drink blood.
But when you're a vampire, you love blood. Like,
you love the taste of it, yeah, but would you rather that be your life, going out and drinking people's blood? Or would you rather just be a normal person, be able to eat your normal food every day, but then once a month you have to lock yourself away with a few steaks?
I don't know. Having to drink blood all the time. I mean, at the moment, I have some human blood once every special occasion.
Yeah. On your birthday, or
it would demean it to have to drink human blood every day. You don't have caviar for dinner every day. You don't eat lobster every day.
It's not a delicacy after a while.
Exactly. You drink the blood of a virgin once a month, just
to stay young,
as part of when you're hosting a big party. with some nice champagne, nice wine. I don't know why I'm having wine and champagne. I'm not even having dinner. I'm having some nice wine, some nice champagne, some shots, some whiskey, some cider. I think I've got a problem.
You've got a problem. Like we've established that you've just come from the pub with these random strangers that you met. This is more of an intervention than a podcast.
But that's a completely separate. Oh God, I'd be an alcoholic vampire.
You would indeed, or an alcoholic werewolf. And if you were an alcoholic werewolf, you would forget when the full moon was. You would be passed out drunk, transform, and then just tear your place to shreds.
So yeah, that's the thing. A vampire has a little more self-control. I'd have to feast on human blood once a day, but I could still, walk around at night.
At night, yeah. You could still go to the bars, yeah.
I could walk around at day only if I was really covered up, like if I wore like a huge coat and a hood and was always like had it fully over me.
Yeah, and had a big umbrella.
No part of me was actually I was wearing gloves. No part of my skin was exposed to the sun.
Yeah, people would just think you were a goth.
I'd always be impeccably dressed. Fine cloak, shiny cloak, slicked back hair. I would be suave and now that might be a benefit. Be so much better with the ladies. I wouldn't have to kidnap them and handcuff them to me anymore. I just slide along on the bar and whisper in their ear and say something seductive like, "Hi." I mean, I'm not a vampire right now, so I'm not entirely sure what a vampire would say. I don't have the natural magical confidence that comes from being an undead creature of the dead.
An undead creature of the dead.
Yes.
In all the dictionaries and books under vampire, it just says the undead creature of the dead. Yeah.
They just really want to make sure that you get it. It's like when they die and become a vampire, they are dead. They are deceased. They are no longer living. They are a former human. They are dead. They're dead. So I would be better with the ladies. I'd be suave and sophisticated. I would be impeccably dressed. I would be able to fly across town in a mist or turn into a bat, and nothing could hurt me apart from sunlight and a stake through the heart.
In this day and age, who carries stakes around with them anyway?
Yeah, I know that fad went out with the 70s, just randomly staking people in the chest. It was a fad, in the 60s and 70s, but it died out. It's political correctness gone mad, is what I say.
It really is. Not even allowed to carry a wooden stake with you when you go to work.
Not allowed to just stab someone through the heart and say, "Aha, I've killed the beast."
The little mini wooden hammer that people would hammer the stake in with as well.
So I would just have to avoid going out in the day. I would have to get a job. I'd still want to live somewhere. I don't have a fancy European castle, not yet. Do I naturally get one when I become a vampire, or do I still live in a flat? It doesn't seem appropriate for a vampire to live in a flat.
I mean, Brian doesn't really give a shit. As soon as if he's the one who turns you into a vampire, then the next day he's just going to drop you off He's just going to drop you off at like the homeless shelter.
I thought Brian was the werewolf.
Brian's the vampire, and I can't even remember what I called.
Carlos?
Fangs. They call him Fangs for short, anyway.
So. Cool. He's got a cool nickname. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Although both of them could technically be called Fangs, but
one's called Fangs, and the other is called Claws. Fangs and Claws. They're like a buddy cop. Are they a buddy cop detective?
They are detectives. They were trying to find out who the murderer was, but then it turned out it was them. That was the twist at the end.
They were both investigating murders, and it turned out to be their partners. And they're like, "Oh, you've been killing again, Brian. You silly sausage."
Claws and fangs, claws and fangs. Everyone loves claws and fangs. That's the theme tune.
I would definitely watch that buddy cop show.
The werewolf is the gruff, no nonsense, let's get down to business cop, and then you've got the vampire who's very straight laced and
Is gruff. One is very serious. Is this like the tagline? One serious, the other is serious. Watch the hilarious hijinks as they both do their paperwork on time, treat suspects with respect and civility, and thoroughly investigate crimes meticulously and carefully.
The non-odd couple that everyone's been dying to see. Competent cops.
Every episode is just them at their desks, doing paperwork, talking to people on the phones, going through security footage.
It's like it's a very boring show, aside from the fact that they're a werewolf and a vampire.
Yeah, that's the whole gimmick. The writers depended entirely on the gimmick of vampire werewolf detectives, so they didn't even bother coming up with a plot.
No, exactly. It's like the show's called Claws and Fangs, the competent cop show. The tagline is just, they're way too competent.
I was going to say that in a review. They're just too good at their jobs. They solve every crime within 5 minutes. They turn up at the crime scene, go...
Yeah, they just point at each other.
And then yeah, exactly. And then the next 40 minutes of the show are them doing the paperwork.
Yeah. Fangs, pass me the Johnson report. There you go, Claws. Cheers. And then it's just them writing silently for about 40 minutes. It's a good show.
It really is.
I'd still watch it.
Yeah, it's a gritty, realistic take at a cop procedural, apart from the fact that it's a vampire and a werewolf.
Yeah. So anyway, you're going to become one of these things.
So I will get to be their plucky assistant.
You'll be the little sidekick that they get to bring them things. You're the comic relief character. You come in during season 2 when they need to amp the show up a bit more.
I have to choose which one of these amazing people do I want to...
So basically you get everlasting life, but you can't go out in the sun and you can't allow wood to pass through your heart, which...
But I'm dressed impeccably.
Yeah, you're very pasty.
I'm always cool. I always appear out of nowhere and always say really ambiguous lines like, oh yes, Celine, she's a beautiful young lady. I could... just devour her.
Yeah, you always do the weird little laugh at the end as well. I could just gobble her up. Or you would be yourself, basically. Just you, regular old Nathan, but then once a month...
Yeah, I thought of the werewolf. Not much would change, really. Like what happens at the moment. Once a month I go on a crazy, complete and utter out-of-control rampage where I kill every single person I can see in sight. Only this time it will be a little easier for me.
You would just prefer your steaks rare. That's probably the only everyday difference you would notice. You would prefer more raw meat.
Because, yeah, if you're a werewolf, you still live your normal life. Month to month, you're still living your normal life. It's only the week of the full moon that you get to change.
You get to. It's a privilege.
I mean, honestly, it sounds better than my current deal. I can't howl at the moon.
Yeah, you'd probably unleash a lot of anger, actually. You, get it all out when you turn into this wolf person. You can, vent all of your anger. And
like I said, I can't count, so being a vampire would be amazing. What skills do werewolves have? They're good at basketball.
We know that to be true, yeah.
It's a fact.
That is a fact. The first fact of the episode. Come on, we're 50 minutes in.
We've gone a long time without a fact. We were holding back on them for a while there.
Yeah, but fact number 1 for this episode: werewolves are very good at basketball.
This is quite a tricky one, actually, because they are both so cool.
Yeah. Another thing for werewolf: heightened sense of smell.
I would definitely want to be a vampire. Because again, I'd still be living in my flat. I don't want a heightened sense of smell.
Yeah, your dirty laundry just tossed across the floor. Those pizza boxes that have been on the sink for the last month.
I'm just looking on my flat right now to see how much of what you're saying is accurate and how much of it is you taking the mick.
You've just got that bowl with... You're not quite sure what it was, but now it's green and growing eyes.
It's bubbling and just going... Kill me!
You can't actually pull the spoon out. It's actually stuck inside the bowl. So you're going for werewolf?
No.
So you're going for vampire?
You're trying to reverse psychology. You want to be the vampire, don't you, you bastard? I'm going for vampire. I'm going to be a suave, sophisticated ladies' man of the night. Just like I am right now, of course. But the only difference is I can appear out of nowhere in a mist. I slide along, and I get to live forever, and I get to say ambiguously sinister things.
Yeah, and people don't really bat an eyelid. You'd be great at Halloween parties as well, because people would just be like, "Oh look, he's come as a vampire," and you'd be thinking, "I've come as myself." Yeah, so it would be good all round for everyone if you were a vampire.
Absolutely, a good all round for every single person.
God, how? That made no sense. I said something that made no sense. You agreed with me and ran with it. And then I was just thinking,
I double down. That's how much of a friend I am to you, Carl. When you say things that are wrong, I don't correct you. I double down and make you believe even more firmly that they're correct.
when I say that you being a vampire would benefit everyone, you agree that yes, that definitely would be the case. So there you go. Everyone knows that if you've got the choice of becoming a vampire or a werewolf, you become the vampire. Actually, literally no reason for it whatsoever. You just become the vampire.
Because they're cool and sexy.
There you go. You want to be cool, become a vampire.
They're cooler. They're definitely cooler than werewolves. So yes, now I am an unholy creature of the night. Suave, sophisticated. But I'm not going to forget the little people. I'll still make time for you, Kyle. I will always make time for you, hang out with you. I find your company delectable. Would you care to join me, Carl, for a drink?
Would you care to come over for a bite?
Why, thank you, Nathan. That's so sweet.
That sounds delicious. Yeah, I'll come over for something to eat.
It shall certainly be delicious. I don't know what accent I am doing. You, Kyle, you know what happens to you?
What happens to me?
Well, you were playing your weekly poker game.
I play poker almost every week.
Almost every week.
Almost every week. I mean, some weeks I can't make it. Some weeks I've got a backgammon game. Some weeks I've got my pool game.
Some weeks you've got Parjon. Some weeks you've got illegal dog shows where you're just breeding dogs in the black market.
Some weeks I've got open mic night. Some weeks I've got karaoke.
I mean, if we're going to keep inventing them, we're going to come up with 52, and that's going to be basically every week of the year you're doing a different thing.
So I'm not always doing poker. That's what I'm trying to get across.
No, not always. You're not always. I think that's what we've established.
I mean, I do play poker with a bunch of dogs. I'm like that painting.
You're playing your weekly poker game with your old friends from your dark, mysterious past. As you gather around, saying ambiguous things, talking about old friends that aren't there anymore, ones that got caught by the man.
By claws and fangs.
By claws and fangs, yes. You're discussing your past, you're smoking, you're having a lovely time.
Cigars, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely. Big Cuban puffy cigars. The cigars shouldn't be puffy, but you're puffing them.
I'm puffing the puffy cigars. It's actually one of the blow-up cigars that you give to kids.
And you've also got those little sweet cigarettes that they gave out to kids in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I'm pretending to smoke with one of those.
Candy cigarette. That was a weird thing. Why were they giving out candy to kids in the shape of cigarettes?
I don't know. Well, it's start them early, isn't it? You start them with candy cigarettes and then move them onto the real thing.
So, you were with your old gang. You were with Mr. Squeak, the duck-billed platypus, Mrs. Through Boots for Knots, the blue whale, Sir Reginald Theodore Forsooth, the hippopotamus, and Bob, the baboon. The old gang. The good old guys.
Yeah, good old Bob. He's always good for a laugh.
Yeah, the ones you used to hang out with in your wild youth. What was the name of your gang again, Kyle? I always forget.
What? My gang?
Yeah, the rough and tough gang you used to hang out with in the mean old streets of Bognor.
Kyle and the Beastly Greasers.
Ooh, scary stuff.
We were a scary band. A band? Did you say band? Or gang? You said gang.
I did not say band. You You meant band of merry men. That's what you meant by band.
No, we were definitely a gang. We'd go around whacking people's mailboxes with our baseball bats.
While clicking your fingers.
Yeah, clicking our thick fingers. We would all have greased back hair.
Every few minutes, you take out a little hairbrush and just brush it back.
Yeah, it was interesting that the whale would also have this big head of hair back then. Obviously, he's bald now.
Yeah, I mean, this is back in your youthful days, back when you all had good hair, before you all turned into ugly old men. So you were hanging out with the gang, the cool cats, the digging dudes, the Carl's band of
Kyle's beastly greasers. Grease
the
lightning.
beastly greasers.
No, we were just called grease lightning.
You're drinking and laughing and drinking, putting liquid in your mouths and making noises with your mouths. Yep, that's what I wrote down.
Okay.
When all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. It's your old enemies, the rival gang, the Aristocats.
Oh.
Nah, you've just never got on. Not since the old days not since you smacked their mailboxes with a baseball bat.
Exactly.
They could never forgive that.
No, O'Malley hates me.
So they shoot through the door with their Tommy guns
Of course.
and their bazookas and their nuclear rockets. Basically, it's a massacre. It's horrific. It's heartbreaking. It's terrible. I mean, the poker cards have been ruined, and all your friends are dead. But mainly, the poker cards have been ruined by your friends' blood. The inconsiderate bastards, your friends didn't think to bleed away from the cards. Just horrible.
So you wait a minute. You've invented all of these amazing animal friends for me and killed them off in the first 5 seconds of your story.
What are you talking about, invented? This is the gang you used to hang out with. I know you're grieving, Kyle, and the only way you can cope with your grief is to pretend that these are imaginary invented characters that I just made up off the spot.
Okay, so I'm on my knees mourning over my playing cards, surrounded by dead animals, screaming no at the sky.
You're doing all of that while you yourself are bleeding to death.
Oh, I've been shot as well.
Yes, Kyle. I mean, you were in the same room with all these people. How the hell did you think you would have avoided the bullets? With your Matrix-style jumping out of the way skills.
I thought the fact that there was a whale there, I might have had some sort of shield. But no, apparently not.
But hey, Mrs. Fabutzelnot has been on a diet. Don't disrespect her. That's just rude. I thought you were friends.
Well, not anymore. She's dead. And so what I like about her. Screw Mrs. Forget-Me-Nots.
Well, I'm glad to hear what you'll say about me when I'm gone. I mean, I never have to worry about that because I'm now an immortal creature of the night, but still. So, they're all dead and you are barely clinging to life. You're taken to the hospital, barely hanging on, when your Dr. Completely Insane Doctorson, has a brilliant idea to save you. And he decides to merge your pathetic half-dead body with animal and cybernetics.
Oh, good.
It's so crazy, it just might work.
Is he using the dead parts of my dead friends?
He absolutely is. He's using the dead parts of your dead friends.
Of course he is.
I mean, it was the most convenient thing. They were lying. They weren't using their bodies anymore.
Yeah, haven't they brought that new thing into effect where everyone who dies now is a potential organ donor, no matter what?
Yes.
So, yeah, they're now all organ donors for me.
They've actually brought it into effect that when you see someone dead, you're allowed to just cut them open and pull out whatever organ you want.
Or if they're sleeping and they look kind of dead.
Yeah. I mean, if they're in a heavy enough sleep, they're legally dead.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't notice you sawing their arm off, they don't need it, do they? It's like when I sneak into the old people's home.
And steal their organs.
Yeah, well, you never know when you might need them.
Back to you in the hospital, surrounded by your dead animal friends from your old gang.
After the poker game massacre.
Yes, after the poker, it's going to go down in history, like bloody Valentine the Third, the Valentine's Day Massacre. That's what it was called.
But as we've established, it's Halloween. So this was the Halloween Day Massacre. All Hallows Massacre.
Anyway, so he said your doctor gives you the choice he's going to merge your body with machine and animal parts. And, like any good doctor, he doesn't get the tools he needs. He just uses whatever's around him at the time. I mean, he's operating you in your living room. Yeah, so he's just picking out what he can see around him. So he can merge your body. He's giving you the choice here. You can either be a half toaster, half baboon hippopotamus hybrid, or half Alexa, half platypus whale hybrid.
Okay, right. We're going to have to go through these step by step. So my first option, I've got a toaster. What would that be in replacement of?
Your penis.
Okay, so instead of getting erect, I just pop toast.
Whenever you get aroused, the toast just pops up.
So people know I'm aroused when the toast is done. They smell the toast.
When it goes ping.
Yeah, okay. What were the other two parts?
So you'd be a half toaster, half baboon hippopotamus hybrid.
Baboon hippopotamus. What parts of the baboon and hippopotamus?
Well, I mean, the best part of the baboon, obviously.
Right, so I'd have a baboon's arse, a toaster penis, and I'm guessing a hippopotamus's arms and legs.
And its jaw.
Oh, and its jaw. Oh, so I could bite things, and I could...
there is absolutely no part of your disgusting body left, Kyle. They basically removed your brain and put it into this new cybernetic animal creature.
So I am just a hippopotamus baboon with a toaster for a penis. Okay, so I'm hideous. No matter what happens, no matter which way this thing goes, I'm going to be terrifying. Imagine the rival gang. They're not going to come after me again.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah, you can start yourself a new... You are basically now a one-man gang.
I don't need anyone else. Whichever one I pick, I have become the ultimate version of myself, or the ultimate version of any human.
Well, you're not human anymore.
I'm just the ultimate. That's just what they call me, the ultimate.
The ultimate. Behold, the ultimate. Ding!
Born from the Hallows Day Massacre came the ultimate. And then I step forwards out of the shadows.
That is quite dangerous. If everywhere you go, everyone's talking about how awesome you are, because you will get instantly aroused.
Exactly.
And just start firing toast at people.
It would be like a superpower, though. A shit superpower. Because it would just be like, here's a bit of hot toast. Ow! That burnt my arm. So yeah, I could give people minor burns by flinging toast at them when I get aroused.
And you could twerk like no one's business.
Yeah, I would look great. I would make some good YouTube videos or some good.
And what can hippopotamuses do? Hippopotami. They've got big jaws, so they can rap. That's another fact.
That's a fact. So what's my second option?
Your second option is to be half Alexa, half platypus whale hybrid. Platypus blue whale hybrid. So it's quite a large creature.
So I'm guessing the Alexa, again, is my penis.
You are a wise man, Kyle.
I hit the nail on the head, did I?
You did hit the nail on the head. Which, again, that's how they removed and attached the Alexa. You have the head of a blue whale, but you have the beak of a platypus sticking out of the front of it. And like the toaster announces whenever you're turned on, the Alexa just says, "Hi, Kyle is really turned on right now."
Okay, so I've got a magical box that... See, people might think we're making this Alexa thing up, as if it's...
Oh, yes, of course. We should explain what an Alexa is. Otherwise, I mean, that might be the most unbelievable part of this story.
I think so. A box that can do anything.
There's this box that you plug in and ask questions. And it only seems to work with that kind of box. I've gotten other boxes that I've tried to plug in and talk to, and they don't talk back. I don't understand what kind of witchcraft they're doing here, but somehow this kind of box versus other kind of boxes can talk.
The box that can talk.
It's an inspirational children's story.
The box that could talk.
Just drawing a smiley face on a box.
Oh, imagine if that was your kid's best friend, the Alexa. That would be very sad.
It's a picture of Alexa, but they've put a smiley face sticker on it. And the name of the book is My Only Friend.
Coming to all good bookstores near you.
So yes, Kyle, you have these two options available to you. Doctor Completely Insane Doctorson has given you this choice, and you can trust a man with that kind of professional family name.
Yeah, I mean, I would grip him by the lapels and say, Doc, I've got a lot of trust in you. You are a good man. I can tell,
Doctor Completely Insane Doctorson.
Doctor Completely Insane Doctorson. I can tell that you are a sane man, and you will do right by me, no matter which one of these two I pick. So I'm dying fast, so I need to make a decision, right?
And you get to know this doctor quite well. He's quite informal, actually. He tells you his first name. He's I'm definitely going to kill you. So it's Doctor I'm definitely going to kill you, Doctor Completely Insane Doctorson, Esquire the Third.
He's got that title, so he's on the level. So I would either be huge. I mean, I'm going to be huge either way, I think.
If you're baboon hippopotamus, you've got the arse of a baboon, so your arse will be huge. Your arse will be huge either way. You'll have yes, you have a blue whale's arse.
I think it really comes down to I'm going to be a weird animal hybrid no matter what. It really comes down to the penis. Now,
yeah, that's what I've always said.
That's every choice you need to make. Just think, how does it affect the penis?
I mean, I think that's what's going to be my memoir title. It really comes down to the penis. The Nathan Wozniak story.
Would I prefer to have a toaster on my groin or an Alexa? See, I think an Alexa would be quite judgy.
It would tell every single woman that you're attracted to that you're attracted to them. Oh my god, this would be terrible. Whenever you're having private man moments, it would be judging you.
Although it is
the part that you would do that with, but it would be telling you, why are you watching these elephants in bikinis?
And an Alexa's constantly listening as well, isn't it? So I couldn't have any privacy whatsoever. Whatever I was doing, she would just keep butting in, like I don't know. I think I might pop to the shops. Purchasing Crocs. No, you stupid Alexa.
You could never win an argument with your girlfriend. She says, I told you to put the bins out. I don't think you did. Yes, she did. On the 19th of November at 6:45 p.m. Here's an audio recording of her saying it and you saying, yes, I will do this.
And then I go down to do the washing and I'm like, oh, fucking socks. It's like, buying socks. No, Alexa.
Oh, God, and whenever you complained about anyone behind their back, whenever you'd beat them, she would tell them what you said. And not even tell them, she'd play it back to them.
So I think I would prefer to have a toaster there. Also, you've got to think, anywhere I go in the world, I can have toast. As long as I can find some bread, I can make toast or bagels.
I was going to say you do have to provide your own bread.
Yeah, it's not a magically.
You're not a magical bread making machine, Kyle. No matter what you call yourself while you're in your foreplay. Look at me, babe. I'm a magical bread making machine.
Yeah, that's what I put on my on all of my accounts. It's just Kyle, the magical bread making machine.
No, you have to supply your own bread.
Yeah. Would it be... Here's a question. If I put a picture of the toaster on my Facebook page or on my Twitter page or something, would that be considered offensive? Would that be considered rude? Would it be banned? Would it have to be pixelated?
Not immediately, but when people found out that was your genitalia, then yes. At first they just think, oh, what a kooky fun guy. His profile picture is a toaster.
Actually, scrolling down, all of his pictures are of toasters. The same toaster. And, a lot of them have some toast flying from them. It's very...
I just realised the connotations of the link there. Thank you, Kyle, for that lovely image.
So, yeah, for all of these great reasons, I'm going for hippo, baboon, toaster hybrid.
I see. So you want to be able to constantly provide yourself toast.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to eat toast that came out of your crotch?
And toast that only came about because I was aroused.
It's another deep philosophical question that man has been asking himself since the beginning of time. Ironically, since before toasters were invented.
But I still think that's more preferable than having an Alexa spy on me 24 hours a day.
Tell everyone your deep innermost secrets, judge you for anything you do on your own, have a go at you all the time. It's basically like being married to a robot. That's also your crotch.
That is exactly what it is like. It is exactly like being married to a robot that is also your crotch.
Basically you have a robot penis and you married it. That's what's happened here.
And it just constantly tells you you're wrong, and it's got the entire internet at its disposal. So
oh my god, yeah. So you couldn't.
Whatever I say, if anything is wrong, she will know straight away.
I've also realised another con. This Alexa robot penis would have to join us on our podcasts.
Oh yeah, and every fact that we say, she would be contradicting us.
Even though everything we ever say is correct, she is clearly a malfunctioning robot.
Definitely. Well, as we know, everything on the internet is wrong. The only true place you go for facts is this podcast, but she doesn't know that. So yeah, I'm going to live out the rest of my life as a insane animal hybrid of a hippo,
as a half toaster, half baboon hippopotamus hybrid.
Yes, exactly. And you are going to live forever as a vampire.
I think you've got the better deal here. You've got the cooler gig, the cool, suave, sophisticated gig here.
I look cooler, but I'm probably only going to last like a month before I die. This doesn't seem sustainable.
I mean, I'm the comic relief of the cool cop duo Fangs and Claws and Fangs, but I now decided I'm going to split off on my own, and you and me, Carl, are going to form our own cool cop duo. What would we be called?
Well, I'm just referred to as the ultimate. Are you either Claws or Fangs? Or we could just call you Pointy.
Pointy and oh my god, it's disgusting.
Pointer and Toaster Penis.
Pointy and oh my god, what the hell is that?
That's what the new show's get. Yeah, basically season 2 ends.
They introduced a brand new cast.
Well, no, you're still. Yeah. Of the original Fangs and.
I came in at the end of season 1. I was in like the last 2 episodes of season 1, and I was so cool and suave. They thought, let's get this guy as the main cast member.
Yes, they kick out Claws and Fangs. They get relocated to America, and they bring in me as your sidekick. You become the boss, and yeah, we run this agency together. And there's a bit more of there's a bit more action in this season.
Oh yeah, I mean, you fire toast at the bad guys.
Yep, I'm like a superhero now.
I'm just seducing everyone into stopping crime. Basically, that's my technique. Every time there's a criminal, I just hypnotize them. They come towards me and start snogging me.
So yeah, you hypnotize them. I shoot toast at them
from your groin.
From my groin, and then take them in. And that's the end of each episode. That's basically how each episode ends.
That might be some difficult paperwork to fill out. I think, do you have to file paperwork every time you fire toast at a criminal, discharging your weapon? So yeah. I think we have come to the best decisions available.
Yeah, we've come to the best decisions available, and we've also gained a 3-season TV show somehow.
And we've both become immortal creatures. Because I'm pretty sure you are so deformed and disgusting you can't possibly die. God will not accept you, Kyle.
Just every time I die, I'm just suddenly revived magically. That's another of my superpowers.
You've been rejected by God.
I've been rejected by heaven and hell. So neither of them want me.
Neither one of them will claim you.
Freaky toaster penis, they call me. So yeah, we have come up with the correct answers and become our ultimate selves, and no one can disagree with us. But if anyone does disagree with us and anything we've said in today's episode, then let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this episode, then please follow and subscribe to the podcast on Patreon. We have new episodes up every 2 weeks, and it'll help us out a lot if you do.
And if anyone does want to write in and disagree, please direct them to me, and we can meet up for A lovely bite.
You can follow me on Twitter at Kyle M. Bennett. That's Kyle_M_Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's.
And you can follow me at Nwozniak Art, which is NWOZNIAK, and then art. And if you don't know how to spell art,
Then we don't want you following.
that was needlessly cruel. I mean, you're a disgusting, unholy creature.
But even I have my limits.
We can't afford to be rejecting people.
Well, you don't like anyone who doesn't count.
No, that's true. That is offensive to me as a religion. Yes, that is where you can follow us. And I said but I didn't have anything else to say after that. So that is where you can follow us. And that is the end of the sentence.
That's where you can follow us, and Nathan will follow every one of you in real life. He will stalk each and every one of you.
Whenever you turn around, I'll be there. If I wasn't a vampire, you'd see me in the mirror behind you as you go into the bathroom.
And just think to yourself, every time you smell burning toast or
see a mist,
one of us will be there, lurking in the shadows.
Well, good night, everyone.
This has been If You Had To, though. I've been Kyle.
And I have been Nathan.